Richmond, thank you for coming in. I'm disappointed not to see somebody from transportation here this afternoon, but thank you for coming into the chamber. Somebody from the government coming in is better than nobody, I guess. So thank you for coming in today to deal with this matter, which is of great importance to the people of Thurles, the whole of Tipperary, and indeed the surrounding counties. The route for a bypass road for Thurles and County Tipperary has been mooted as far back as 2011. The project was set to go ahead at that time, but along with countless other national projects, it was put on hold due to the financial crash. Obviously, Thurles residents expected to see it back on the agenda post-recovery, and yet the project was conspicuously absent from the 2040 National Development Plan. The need for this bypass project plan to be finalised and acted upon as a matter of urgency is plain to see for anyone familiar with Thurles town centre. The central square of Thurles on average sees 15 to 20,000 vehicles pass through it every single day. Liberty Square serves as a meeting point on the N64 and the N72, meaning that the traffic is not just commuter vehicles, but a constant flow of heavy goods vehicles, farm vehicles and articulated lorries. These HGVs are of particular concern, Minister, because due to their size, they have a huge blind spots and can be highly dangerous in built-up areas. Thurles has seen 4 separate road vehicle deaths over the past 25 years, all of them pedestrians knocked down by HGVs. Only last year, one of these lorries knocked down and killed an elderly gentleman, a tragic accident that may well have been avoided if this bypass was in place. So, Minister, given that the National Development Plan is up for review next year, will Minister Ryan commit to including the Thurles bypass project in the next edition of the National Development Plan? This has been asked for well over a decade at this stage. I know that many people have been pushing for it. Independent Councillor Jim Ryan has been active on this, looking to get answers from the government. Thurles District Municipal Council sent 2 letters to the Minister last year asking for a meeting with the Minister on this issue. They haven't even received a response. I understand that this has since been acted upon and that Minister Jack Chambers is to meet with council members tomorrow. This is certainly welcome and we look forward to what the outcome of that meeting might be. But for now, Minister, what might Minister Ryan or his department have to say in relation to this matter? Can we expect the inclusion of the Thurles bypass project in next year's review of the 2040 National Development Plan? Thank you.
Minister. I would like to thank the Senator for raising this very important issue. The Minister for Transport has responsibility for overall policy and exchequer funding in relation to the National Roads Programme. Once funding arrangements have been put in place with Transport Infrastructure Ireland under the Roads Act 93 to 2015 and in line with the National Development Plan, the planning, design, improvement and upgrading of individual national roads is a matter for TII in conjunction with the local authorities concerned. TII ultimately delivers the National Roads Programme in line with Project Ireland 2040, the National Planning Framework and the NDP. The Government has earmarked €5.1 billion for capital spending on new national roads projects from 2021 to 2030 as part of the NDP. This funding will enable improved regional accessibility across the country as well as compact growth, which are key national strategic outcomes. The funding will provide for the development of numerous national road projects, including the completion of projects which are already at construction stage and those close to it, as well as the development of a number of others. As the greater portion of this funding becomes available in the second half of the decade, this means that there is a constraint on the funding available for new projects this year. However, most national road projects in the NDP will continue to be progressed in 2024. A major priority in the NDP, in line with the Department's investment hierarchy, is to maintain the quality and safety of the existing national road network. The NDP foresees an exchequer allocation of circa €2.9 billion for the protection and renewal of existing national roads over the 10-year period for 2030, allocated fairly evenly across the decade. Approximately €491 million of exchequer capital funds have been provided for national roads through TII to local authorities in 2023. The 2024 allocations will be announced in the very near future. A national roads bypass at Thurles was previously considered, but the project was suspended in 2011, primarily due to the economic downturn. The project was not included in the current National Development Plan, which was announced in 2021, or indeed in the previous National Development Plan, and therefore TII and Tipperary County Council have not been in a position to provide further funding for the project at this time. The Thurles Inner Relief Road is a regional road project being developed by Tipperary County Council, however. This scheme comprises an inner relief road between the N62 National Secondary Road at the junction with Clongore Road and the Mill Road to the east of the River Suir. This project is mentioned in the NDP as at early stages of planning and design and subject to the appropriate approvals. The capital plan published in September 2015 outlined proposed transport investment priorities to 2022. The Thurles Inner Relief Road was not included amongst the projects which were identified for development during that period. However, the Department, through the Strategic Regional and Local Roads Grant, allocated funding in 2022 and 2023 to facilitate Tipperary County Council in progressing the scheme toward completion. Strategic grant allocations for 2024 will be notified to local authorities as part of the general grant allocation process, which will be issued in the coming weeks, and I have no doubt the members of the community and indeed of Tipperary County Council will be able to get more detail out of Minister Chambers at their meeting this week, and he will be able to provide a timeline or indeed indication in when it comes to funding.
Great. I suppose, thank you, Minister, for the response there. But I suppose really the last line of your response there, the strategic grant allocation for 2024 will be notified to local authorities, part of the general grant allocation process, which will be issued in the coming weeks. So I'm hoping that this particular development will be part of that. So, you know, this is obviously of interest to the Thurles Municipal District Council and to the public, and hopefully it will allow them to be better prepared for the meeting with Minister Chambers tomorrow. But really we're looking at Tipperary this afternoon, but there isn't a county in the country that doesn't have the projects like this. I know in Meath we have the Slane bypass, but once promised, it's never delivered, and a sea of excuse and red tape in between the locals and their badly needed improvements to infrastructure and amenities. So looking at the Exchequer tax intake, it would seem that we're experiencing some years of plenty. It would be worthwhile investing that money into projects such as this to improve the country, because you never know when the years of famine might come. So we have money in the Exchequer now for these large projects, Minister, and it's important that when we do have the money, that it is spent on the communities that need it most.
Minister.
As I mentioned at the outset, the allocations for 2024 are expected to be announced in the near future, and the Senator is right. There is absolutely, we've been very fortunate to have record tax hike in the last couple of years, both in terms of income tax and corporate tax, but the investment being put into infrastructure, society and preparation for the future are very clear, as is the ability to put money away, because as when the Senator references times of famine, when we had a rainy day before, we needed it very quickly when the rain started falling, and that's prudent and sensible. But we will also have a strategic sovereign wealth fund where we'll be able to invest clearly in the future going forward. We're one of the few European economies that have seen their economy grow, that have been able to run at a surplus, that are investing heavily in infrastructure, both in terms of roads, both in terms of public transport, and indeed the housing and business improvements that we need. So I will take the points that Senator Keogan has made directly to Minister Ryan, and indeed I have no doubt that those interested will be able to elicit more direct response from Minister Chambers this week.
Thank you very much, Minister.